Curiosity. Throughout my endeavors, I've come to find that curiosity can reveal reality while possibly allowing us to mend reality's broken parts. I believe my diversified cultural background led to this awareness. I'm originally from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. As an ethnic Ndebele and Shona, my family and I treasure indulging in fresh avocados alongside traditional millet sadza or ishwala with veggies. When I was 6 years old, my family and I moved to Mongolia in Central Asia. As a foreign diaspora, I grew to love in the sharing of traditional food in Tsagansar or Lunar New Year. From there, my family and I now live in Uganda, in East Africa. As a fellow African, my friends and I cherish indulging in fresh mangoes alongside eating delicious matoke and fried cassava. Relocating between different food cultures within these countries sparked my love for traditional food. And relocating between diverse contexts within these countries ignited my curiosity to know beyond status quo boundaries, to change the world. Ever since this curiosity sparked, I engaged in agri-financial technology for East African farmers and Europe-Africa agri-business trade. From these experiences, my perception is that this world, or sphere, has shaped itself to be agri-food production across Southern and East Africa. Agri-food production is the practice of cultivating land to grow crops that enables us to have presumably nutritious food on our tables. And historically, as outlined by political economists, agri-food production has evolved, and its evolution has been shaped by different colors of curiosity. From the curiosity to shape, empowering industrial agriculture, to the curiosity to extend the revolution, and now perhaps a curiosity to reflect for a fundamental change in agri-food production. Now imagine a sphere where diverse knowledge ensures sovereign agri-food production. Well, I believe this world can exist and will utilize curiosity as a guiding light to unfold it. Meet Edward Paul Munaba, a friend and agriculture enthusiast. As one of the 70% across Uganda engaged in small-scale farming, he could cultivate his small-sized land in various ways, one of which being industrial agriculture from modernization. Philosopher Stephen Tillman and others outline that modernization began in Western Europe, inspired by the curiosity to shape. Here, science enabled the establishment of knowledge as objective and universally applicable. Thus, an ability to understand environmental nature meant one to shape or instrumentalize it for better human livelihoods. Ways to ensure enough food and income for a good human life. Now, given agri-food's intimate relation with humanity, agri-food did not miss out on this advancement. As John Grin, my University of Amsterdam professor turned acquaintance highlights, harvest yields were amplified, chemical fertilizers multiplied, land use intensified, and technological upgrade of wheat seeds were locked in, therefore enabling economic growth, measured by GDP, to grow and food availability to be enhanced. In full belief of the potential of industrial agriculture as a universally applicable manuscript with standardized knowledge, industrial agriculture was extended. Industrial agriculture was extended to a different sphere. My sphere, agri-food production across Southern and East Africa, Zimbabwe and Uganda. In my own quest to better understand this development, I created a podcast. Within it, conversations with experienced African entrepreneurs, academics, and advocates, including Milen Belay from the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa, enlighten me. establishing this podcast taught me that the curiosity to extend was ignited by a corporate dream of a green revolution, orchestrated the replication whereby philanthropic capitalist efforts aimed to amplify wheat and maize corn for better livelihoods. Now, broadly speaking, a green revolution involves the introduction and production of high supply wheat and maize corn for better livelihoods. But in Uganda, a green revolution means multiplied imported fertilizers and foreign technologically upgraded seeds as key components to alleviate poverty. Therefore, enabling economic growth measured by GDP to grow and food availability to be enhanced. However, there seems to me to be a misstep, a missing color of curiosity. A curiosity to reflect, critiquing past actions to better the future by changing present practices. As Milan Belay, political economist Jennifer Clapp, and academic Mark Hathaway emphasize, beyond merely extending status quo knowledge as universally applicable, a curiosity to reflect acknowledges that industrial agriculture led to intensified water scarcity, worsened land quality, and loss of biodiversity due to monoculture or single production of wheat and maize corn. Imagine yourself contemplating this outside the globe's planet. By taking a step back, we might realize the necessity of contextualizing and diversifying knowledge. Its foundations ought to be reflected upon and critiqued by considering who extends and whom this knowledge is extended towards. Applying this, perhaps the resounding call for self-determination by farmers ought to be conformed to through food sovereignty, beyond merely food availability. Now, food sovereignty is small-scale farmers' right to be self-sufficient and to culturally determine their agri-food production. It ensures fair and equitable food availability by and for farmers. Agronomist Miguel Alteri reveals that practicing food sovereignty engages with agroecology, whereby farmers apply indigenous knowledge and environmental nature's relations to cultivate their land. At the same time, food sovereignty's privilege of indigenous crops might limit the availability of wheat and maize corn for urban local populations' food on their tables. For Edward, the farmer, agroecology with diversification, working with environmental nature, reconciling with it, ensures his self-sufficiency from amplified coffee yields. Recognizing this, I, along with University of Amsterdam peers, collaborated with him to organize an agroecology module for its community center targeted towards local small-scale farmers. Inspired by East African cases from the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa, farmers are now able to engage in community-centered knowledge sharing and utilize their own natural fertilizers to amplify their coffee yields for higher incomes and poverty elimination. Simultaneously, not all farmers may be willing to only produce indigenous crops for local markets. Some may prefer industrial agriculture to engage in medium to large-scale production of wheat and maize corn for global urban markets. However, farmers who choose to fully define the contours of their agri-food production by utilizing indigenous knowledge to cultivate and grow coffee, matoke, millet, and cassava no longer remain dominated by foreign expertise. Yes, small-scale farming alone may not sufficiently meet all of the globe's food preferences, but it is a great starting point for fundamental change. A change whereby the indigenization, beyond merely the modernization of agri-food production, means no longer utilizing knowledge to instrumentalize or to shape environmental nature, but to reconcile with it. With this in mind, perhaps food sovereignty and agroecology from contextualized diverse knowledge are a way to better all livelihoods, not only a few, to restore our entire globe's planet. Curiosity. All in all, it can reveal reality and allow us to mend reality's broken parts. If we choose to be open-minded and critique, I believe curiosity will go beyond merely shaping or impulsive extension, but activates reflection to contextualize and diversify knowledge, especially in different spheres. So, every day, in our own spheres, as we eat the food on our tables, may we continuously choose to reflect and take that step back. Thank you.